It's still 4 o'clock. I hadn't got to 4:01 yet, so I'm officially starting the meeting.
Looks 4 o'clock to me.
Call to order. Pledge of Allegiance.
See, bringing me up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve?
Got a motion, a second? Got a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Good. Any conflicts of interest? No?
Yeah, I have an art I'm going to hang out in the middle of Dixie Highway. Is that conflict of interest?
No, it's illegal.
Thank you, Michael.
Here to help.
He likes to pick on me anyway, so.
Okay. Any comments by the public? No?
None.
Going on to old business. The Rio roundabouts.
So we're going to do a little tag team here today. You guys remember Elise Raffa? She is here, and she's going to be your person for art in public places moving forward. So we're going to sort of tag team today's meeting a little bit. And we wanted to bring back the RFQ to you. We did make some changes based on your input last month or 2 months ago, and also based on some additional information from the developer and input from Martin Arts. I don't think this is the absolute last draft, and that's a little bit driven by the timeline and some additional information. But just to show you the things that we did look at based on some of your input. I'll just talk about the timeline real quick here. So we're looking at a timeline that's going to run sort of concurrently with how the developer is going to build Dixie Highway in Rio. And they do not have that yet approved through growth management, but we expect that that's going to happen within the next couple to 3 months. So then I'm going to get a little bit of a timeline from the developer that's going to tell us when they expect to be starting that, so that we can put out the call when all of that is happening. Because what we would like is for to have all of the finalized plans to put with the RFQ, but we'd also like for the artists, if they wanted to, potential participants, to be able to give us their proposals, and then if there are specific things that they need, that can go into the construction if that's necessary. So we want to do it just a touch ahead, but sort of around the same time. So that'll be a little bit of a dance that we'll have to do. So you'll see that date in yellow, the July 15th. That is really probably not true. But we just put it in there. We did listen to things that you told us, and Elise had a great idea that we'll put out the RFQ, and then we will have links in the document so that it's not a big, huge document that's going to talk about some historical information about the Rio area, which I think would be really helpful, and also to talk about the fact that it's an opportunity zone, and to have someone able to click onto the prospectus so that they could have that information as well, because that has a lot of economic development information. It just gives you a good feel for what's in the community, and that could be helpful to anyone that's going to answer this. These are parts that were added that Elise did some research on, and with the help of FDOT, came up with lots of things that needed to be added, I think. So site constraints, you'll see, we did get to, somebody here mentioned height in the last meeting, so that's referred to, or at least it's, people have a little bit more of a guideline when we talk about the site constraints, and then as well as the design criteria. That is something else that Elise added. Now, you will notice that there are a couple of things that maybe are said more than once, but I think that that's important, so that was purposeful. We're not just repeating ourselves because we didn't pick it up, but that we thought it needed to be said again because it's a site constraint and it's also a design criteria. So they need to really pay attention to a couple of those things, height being one of them, for example. So site plans are going to, oh, wait. We got to overview. Okay, so overview. We did look at this again because we had discussed it at the last meeting. And Elise came up with a couple of things that were added. So in talking about movement, again, we're talking about this art being on a roadway. And so we can't have it moving around and distracting drivers and pedestrians or bicyclists for that matter. So movement was something that you guys had questioned a little bit. And textured movement is kind of what we're going to be looking at. And I'm going to show you a really nice example of that. What did I just do with that? So here is texture, and I don't know, Elise, if you want to talk about these.
Well, this piece is, hi, so I have to say my name, right?
Yeah.
I'm obviously new, so Elise Rafa, Office of Community Development. Basically, texture movement is using texture to create and imply movement. So this is a really nice use of the elevations. It's made out of styrofoam cups. It lives in the MFA in Boston.
Isn't that weird, styrofoam cups? Right? So these are just a few examples.
And then, through this piece, the brush strokes and how they move implies movement. We all know Van Gogh's Starry Night, I would hope.
We do.
And then yet another one where it's using texture to imply movement. So we thought that would be a good way to have movement for the,
Is Q-tips?
I'm
Is
sorry?
what?
Q-tips.
Q-tips?
I don't know.
This is ceramic, actually.
I figured that
Oh,
much.
wow. So it's hard.
Yeah.
It looks soft to me. It looks like
Yeah.
it's going to be soft to the, doesn't it?
Right?
It's
Yeah.
like feathery or something.
Looks
Neat.
like it should be in the ocean, but.
Yeah. So just to give you, we wanted to give you a little idea of what that was all about. And we could include some of those examples as well if, if we wanted to do that. So there's our timeline. We did talk about that. I think that that's going to be pushed forward. And then these things were just, Elise just redid in order to make them things that we can receive and whatnot. All of this pretty much stayed the same except for the one thing that we did change. I think we had said we'll select a maximum of 4. That doesn't mean that we have to select 4. Could mean that we select 3. That would be our maximum number, but it doesn't mean that we have to have that. So I had changed that instead of saying the 4 finalists, just the finalists, because that gives us a little leeway if we don't have 4 that we want. We don't have to pay an extra artist group to come and give us a presentation. And then I just changed these to indicate the direction and location. I did have to change because I had them a little bit wrong on the first one. We will have the site plans included, and we also received the landscape plan today from the developer. So that would be included as well. We are going to get input again from Martin Arts and also from our legal department. We will need to go over this, I think, just to be on the safe side, make sure everything is the way we need it. And then when we're ready to send out, we'll keep you posted, though, at the next meeting in terms of the timeline based on what the developer tells us in the next month. And that's all we have on that, other than answering any questions or taking any further input from you. And if you do come up with something, think of something, look at this again in a week, how, you can always email us with whatever you might want to let us know.
Of course, I have something to say. I know that there was an architectural representation on what these guys were thinking about building, and to the extent that that hasn't changed, with that might be helpful also for them to understand. But
Yes,
right,
yes, you did mention that, and we did tell them that we wanted to have those things.
Yeah, okay.
So it was the renderings, so that, kind of the concept plan.
Right.
Yeah, so that they can see what's going to be around it.
right. What the
Yep.
the buildings look like.
I did not mention that, but I did have that written down.
That's it for me.
Yeah, that will be included.
Any comments, questions?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I second it.
Great.
Okay, fantastic.
All in favor?
Aye.
Program and project updates?
So again, we're going to both do this a little bit together. Virtual art inventory tour for our committee members. That will start in July, and I don't know what Elisa's plan is for that, so I think it will be a surprise. We're going to leave that up to her. The Artisan Guild of Martin County, if you recall, last meeting, Nancy Turrell was here, and she talked about kind of getting us together. Oh, you are here.
He's here too.
She talked about getting us together with Martin Artisans Guild, which we did last week. We did a presentation at one of their meetings, and I have to tell you that they are an amazing group. If you have a chance to go to their website is martinartisansguild.org, and it is just chock full of so much information. They have a location on Ocean Boulevard. I don't know, Rich, have you ever been there? It's a location on Ocean Boulevard, the Harbor Bay Plaza, and it's a boutique. So they have event space, gallery space, and boutique. So they have events like gallery openings. They have openings. They have art in there all the time in their gallery.
Aldi.
Yeah, I've actually walked
Restaurant.
by it. I didn't know what it was.
Yes, and then they also have a boutique where you can purchase art from local artists, from some of the people that are either exhibiting there or are members of the Artisans Guild. I don't know how many people they actually have, but there was a really nice group that showed up at the meeting last week for the presentation, and so we did get to tell them all about art in public places and to talk a little bit about maybe some of the things we could do together. And I don't know if any of you remember, but when we first started in 2017, we had talked about doing some public education about art for the community, and we had kind of met with the Elliott Museum a little bit and with Martin Arts as well. And they do a ton of education for local artists. And you have to be a member actually to get to this spot on their website, but they have everything you can think of for an artist who wants to run a business, or, I mean, really even to how to hang a picture correctly, how to frame a picture. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to go, and they were like, no, you have to be a member. It's like, bummer. But the education piece is something that maybe we can look at doing with them in the future, and maybe have an event or two or a seminar or a symposium. I don't know. That's just an idea that we kind of threw out there. We are definitely going to be sharing information, so they'll be on our website. We're going to be on their website, so that, we kind of get a little out there through them and vice versa. And I also talked to them a little bit about repair and maintenance, because this is a great group to know, because they can also assist us with keeping our inventory in repair, and doing maintenance for us as well. So, doing inspections for us and all of those kinds of things. So it was really a fantastic, meeting, and I think will be a nice collaboration in the future. So I would encourage all of you to go up to Ocean Boulevard and take a walk around, have a glass of wine, purchase, whatever.
Now,
I was going to recommend that,
Yeah, next door is
that'd be okay.
my favorite restaurant called Thai restaurant, I like Thai food.
Oh, is that a good Thai place there?
Yeah,
Oh,
really is.
we'll have to check that out.
My wife loves.
Naomi, write that down so we can go. We'll do that. So next on our list, we have potential grant opportunities. I'm going to let Elise take that one because she looked at what NEA is offering these days.
Yeah, so NEA is National Endowment for the Arts, and they have 2 grant opportunities that are available. One is the Grants for Art Projects that's due in July 23rd, so we're going to see what we can do there. It's a 1-for-1 up to $100,000. And then the next one would be similar setup for arts projects. It's $150,000, and that's due in August. And we would need a nonprofit arts partner, which naturally would be Martin Arts would be great for
Sitting
that.
right behind us.
And I have Pro Nancy for all thing grants.
So Elise, what kinds of projects would those fund?
So from what I was reading, it's, public art projects, murals, arts programming, we were
Arts
talking about
programming, yeah.
educational type thing that we could do would be great for something like that. So,
And they do different things like music, don't they? Would they
yeah,
fund like
I mean, Nancy,
concert,
they do
like a little
everything. Mm-hmm.
concert series? Yeah.
every art.
So it's really something, now that we do have additional staff, this is the kind of thing that we can start looking at seriously. Potential new, any questions on that? If anybody has any questions, we'll just keep going.
I can tell you that people have come to me with some ideas, so, we'll definitely throw them out there.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. So again, Jamie, thank you for the assist. Runs right into my next comment. We did not rehearse this. I just want y'all to know. Potential new project for Palm City Place. This did come to us from an illustrious member of this committee. As you know, Palm City Place has a trail that goes around a beautiful STA, has a fishing pier and an area people can sit and look at wildlife that is there, including, I think, an alligator.
I can show you.
I've heard, I've only heard, I don't know. But anyway, so Dr. Centel has suggested that we may want to consider doing some artful signage that can go around with pictures supplied by his photography of some of the things that you see there, and with some information about what that is, of course, with our logo on that. And I thought it was a fantastic idea. It's a small project, so something that we're going to put on our list. If the committee would like to see us put that on the list, we don't have to decide to spend money on it yet, but just so that it goes on our potential project list, I think would be a really nice one. So I wanted to throw that out at you, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Elise.
Okay, so website changes. Did I just use it like, do you mind typing it in? I've been working on updating the Art in Public Places webpage to get the logo on it, make it a little bit more engaging for especially public use with the FAQs all listed on there. What is public art? How is it funded? Letting it
I
load
don't want to
real
employ
quick.
central. How do you get out of that?
It's right there. Click on go back to
I clicked on the little house.
going down. Keep going down. No, your cursor down. There, you missed it. Go up one. There.
Oh.
Smart.
Why didn't the little house work?
Set it.
Just a different, always gets me.
So I don't know if we can all see that, but just re-updating it, like I said, using some of our branding. We have this collections and programs, so folks can explore the collection we have, Martin Murals program, the Artist Network. What I would like to do with this tab specifically is create that into more artist opportunities. So we're working to have a sub-page where it'll have, you know, this application, resources for artists on things like grants or art in public places, Martin Arts,
Martin Artisans Guild?
Martin Artisans Guild, exactly.
Perfect
So
place
that'll
for
be
them.
kind of like an artist hub sub-page. So I'm working to get that all done. And then as you see down here, it's about, you know, Public Art Advisory Committee and who's on the committee, the meetings, and then all the FAQs, which I thought would be really helpful for those that are just wanting to educate themselves. Instead of reading through our wonderful manual that's 1 million pages, we can have it right here. And that's about that.
So she's going to be continuing to update any ideas or anything that you all think that should be there? Let us know. Let Elise know.
Yeah, and then I just wanted to add too, that relates to the virtual tour. I mean, how I would like to see it is going to be in a video format. I'd really like to go out and film the pieces if we have the artists that live here locally to get some of those candid conversations about the piece, about them as artists. And I'd like to break it into segments because we do have quite a bit, and I do envision these to be a little more in-depth, more than a 30-second reel on Instagram, for instance. So that'll be to come. So, and that would live in this whole Explore Our collection. There'll be photos, but then links to these video series is how I see it.
So for each piece of art, can I click on that and see the art?
Right now,
Like on the-
currently?
Yeah, on the list? Yeah.
Yes, I believe. Because we have this fun map
You have to-
system. Is it this right
Yeah.
here? Here we are. Okay. So when you click on that, it has the map and then a photo, of the piece with some general information. And also part of my project to myself is updating all the photos.
And then it just goes through each one, yeah.
Yeah.
If you click on the list below, below, does it take you to that same spot?
This is just a
That's just the
list,
Okay.
right?
It would be cool if you could click on that to go right to that. Mm-hmm. That'd be really.
Yeah, no, and I'm open to any.
See, they didn't bother to
Suggestions?
say that to me because they know my limitations.
But I agree that maybe it's more of a picture gallery that when you click on it, it has all that information. So I'm totally on board.
It's nice how you can scroll through them, but I agree. I think it'd be great if you had like a little link attached to each of these and then you can go specifically to that
Take you up to that map section you had up above, just
Yeah.
basically that same thing, just go right, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, would go to 8 or whatever it
Right,
was.
Yeah.
I'll see what we can do. But I'm excited. It'll be a whole new look for the website.
I like it's got the map and then a photo of it and a little description. I think that's all great.
Yeah, this has served us well, I think. Yeah. And the new Martin Arts magazine came out, and it's out by the sign-in sheet area if you'd like to take one home.
Very good.
I have nothing else. Elise? You're good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have nothing else, we'll go to any public comments.
It's a race.
Julie Priest, I have a question for Elise. You mentioned a grant program and when you started speaking. We have an after-school program over at the Vince Bacchino Center, and then that turns into a summer camp program. Can the youth there, the children there, take advantage of applying for a grant through, of course, the supervisor for public art of any kind, learning different media?
I would need to research a little bit more on that, but you're saying through the Parks and Recreation
Through the
Department?
Parks and Recreation.
I-
And the lady's name is Lauren Mahalik.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, if you do have those opportunities, I'm sure she'd be happy to learn about them.
I'll try to get with Lauren and see what we can do. on
And there's also a similar program running in Salerno, near the Salerno Colored School next door. the Miss Costello Williams Learning Center. They would probably also be interested. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That one's called the REACH program. Thank you. With Cookie.
I'm here, I have to say something.
Well, I hope so.
Nancy Turl, Executive Director of Martin Arts. So thank you again for everything that's happening here. Very, very excited about the big project in Rio. Been talking to my counterpart down in the Keys, who runs the counties and the city's public art program from Monroe. They've got two $500,000 projects going down there. So there's a lot of public art happening in Florida. There's a lot of great resources by connecting with other communities to learn from their mistakes and do a better job. So been happy to work with Elise and Susan on that. And we also have a meeting later in June with the City of Stewart. They wanted to talk more about how we can combine resources to come up with, so in the City of Stewart, their program is all based on private developers. That's the only way public art happens in the city. So private developers in the CRA of Stewart are required to do 1% of their vertical construction for the purchase of public art. So you've got a lot of people who don't really know anything about commissioning or selecting artwork. And so I often, smart ones, I guess I'll say, reach out and we have some conversations, but we're talking about building out a little bit more of a reference point and a resource base for really the whole community on public art, including narrowing down our big list of artists and the Guild's big list of artists to the artists who actually work in the kind of scale and scope that would be good for public art, to try to help make it a little bit easier for all of them. And I think that'll be great for our whole community. So stay tuned.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the members?
I have one thing. You have challenged us to go out and find places for murals. And the other day, my husband and I were actually out and about, and we were actually over at the Publix in Ocean Breeze. And they have this huge, massive blank wall with nothing on it. It's got lighting already on it. I took a picture, I'll show it to you. But I was just sitting there thinking, it was like, I mean, it's so big that it would be stunning. It would be really cool if we could get some of the local schools involved with an artist and do a huge, you've seen it, Julie, it's huge. I mean.
It's a huge retaining wall.
Yes. And it's just this ugly wall. But like I said, we were looking at it, it's like I said, it's got lighting on it, it's got everything. I mean, like literally, lighting shines right down on that wall.
That sounds
Be a
fantastic.
perfect empty
I
palette.
think you and your husband should take more walks, Cindy.
We didn't walk there that time.
That was very helpful.
But anyway,
Yeah, that would be great, and we do have a potential mural at Hope Sound Library. So that project is getting closer as well. I think they're going to close for like 3 months or something soon, right, Naomi?
Already closed.
They already did. So they're going to do their renovations, and then we'll have our outside project. So that's coming up as well. Yeah.
We need to do follow-up with the moving company in the Golden Gate on Dixie Highway. He was interested before.
The moving company?
Yeah, it's got like a brick
He's on Dixie?
on Dixie, They were very much interested for,
We'll ask Joy.
Oh, way down towards Indian at that end of Dixie?
yeah.
Like a block in?
It's across the street from House of Hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. But we'll ask Joy about him.
I think they call it the Hadley Shopping Center or something.
Okay. And we've had no murals. Soon we're going to have like 20 murals.
Well, you gave us a challenge.
I did.
I was going to ask about the Hope Sound Library, and you've already answered that question.
Yeah, I was excited to see that because that is supposed to be finished. I mean, they're supposed to do it this year, and we hadn't heard anything, so yay.
I still think those big windows look like owls' eyes. And they should be incorporated in.
You can put in your proposal, Dr.
Oh,
Centel.
yeah. I just take photos.
The murals in Hope Sound, are they listed on the Art in Public Places?
So
Nadia's
that's
got like a
not
whole.
part of our inventory. That's separate. She's got like 25 of them.
Right.
She's,
And some of them now we're funding for repair.
yes, so the way that's working is in the Hope Sound CRA, you have a creative placemaking fund. And any of those murals that are in the CRA that needed updating, or I should say refreshing, which they really did, we can fund those.
And
So
then,
that's a little partnership that we're doing with Nadia.
would they then be included on this website as a location?
They really wouldn't because they weren't commissioned through us. I mean, they're really not part of our inventory. That's kind of more through the CRA than it is through this.
Okay.
And
It's
that's,
CRA dollars.
thank you for bringing it up. That's actually part of the conversation with the city of Stewart too.
Oh.
Is, maybe through our website at martinarts.org, having a comprehensive list, whether they're private development, public development.
That would be nice.
Whatever the public art is, having a central repository for where they all are.
Yeah, I think that's
That
a
would be
great idea.
fantastic.
That would be great.
Yeah, I love that idea.
I had just one more thing too. On the Artisans Guild, I just went to their website and I see they have 2 levels of membership. And one of the
Can we
reasons we
be a
got in-
member?
No, yeah, you have to actually be an artist. But, yeah, apparently, but they have an emerging artist level and a professional artist level. And to help meet our mandate of educational among the art, maybe sponsoring some emerging artists with partial scholarship, just as part of our budget.
That's a
Wouldn't be
nice
bad
idea.
to raise awareness, to maybe let the high school art programs know that that exists, so when they first get out of school and are looking for a heads up on how to start, that could help.
That's a great idea.
And it gives a little bit of exposure to us that the scholarship's available. What else does
Yep.
art in public places do?
I like that.
Notes being taken.
Pardon me?
Notes being taken.
Elise is writing. Yeah, that's a very nice idea.
I thought we voted a long time ago about having like a reception, invite all the artists locally and all that stuff, but
That's what I was talking about. We did, because we were going to sponsor part of that monetarily as well. But it just never happened. We never followed through with it for many reasons, one of them being time and another one of them being funding.
There's a lot of CRA projects going on.
Yeah, yeah. So now that we've got a little, another set of hands and another brain to help us, I hopefully we'll be seeing more things like that happen. Yeah.
Jamie, you had something?
Thank you. So back to your challenge, yes. So of course, Port Salerno can't be as easy. But there was an idea.
Never thought of it.
Never, okay? There was an idea that did come about that I thought was a fabulous idea. And there is a dilapidated wall off of Cove Road from like 45th to 47th. And I believe the business on the north side of that street owns that dilapidated wall. So we were thinking,
We looked into that once, and there
Maybe-
was an issue, and I don't remember what it was, but I remember having that conversation.
I wonder if they would be willing to do the investment program to be able to update that wall into maybe a cinder block or some type of, where we could put a mural on there.
I don't know if that would work for investment program.
Okay.
Fences and landscaping?
It's
Yeah,
worth-
because
it's worth a thought.
It does. It
Jamie,
does provide like.
Could you take a
very-
picture of that
Oh, yeah.
for me?
Absolutely.
Send that to Elise and I, and we'll take a look at it again.
Because it'd be nice if
I do remember talking about
maybe
that.
this company would, replace that wall and then we could put a nice mural on there and get like the schools involved, like you'd mentioned. I think it'd be wonderful. And then maybe some grant money would be able to be allocated toward it. But I'll take a picture.
Yeah, do that.
I thought it was a great idea. Unfortunately, we don't have the
I
lighting.
don't remember what was the outcome of that.
But it's really bad.
I know we talked about it.
Maybe it's in the right of way or something?
It's almost like a storage unit behind it for automobiles, and we used to call it the junkyard. But yeah, it's really, really bad. But I thought that would be a nice spot for a nice mural.
Well, we'll take a second look.
Cemetery. Yeah, that's what it was, a cemetery, because I remember,
But it's not on the cemetery property.
I know.
It's that.
I don't know that we want to do a mural on the cemetery.
No, no. Come on.
That could be weird.
Not on the cemetery property.
We'll use some textured motion or something in that. Oh. Yeah, special lighting, exactly.
I'd just like to thank you for bringing that up about Palm City Place. I see a lot of birds. I see out my office window all the time, and there's all kinds of birds, and an alligator that was using a fountain before it started up as a resting place.
That really was real. Jordan showed me that picture, and I was like, that's not real.
It's real.
It's like, Rex took that picture. I said, what?
But anyhow,
I sit on that path. Not anymore.
I think it would be quite an addition to that
Yeah.
with the walkway all the way around the lakes to have identification of the birds.
Yeah, and it's
animals there.
amazing how many different things are there now that were not there before that STA. You know, anybody that knows me will tell you I'm not a huge nature girl. And I sit there and look at things that fly and creep. So yes, lots of interesting things to see there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of,
As I run away, that's, yeah.
Anything but mice. It was a huge turtle. Came in and he was digging, and I didn't see him, so I stepped on top of him and I felt the earth moving, and I looked down and I passed out.
A tortoise, is that what you're talking about?
A big turtle.
Oof.
And
those are protected, you know, you shouldn't hurt them.
I know. I didn't. It was-
I won't run one over, but I'm not going to get out of my car and pick
Well, I
it up
would
either.
not run
I
one
can tell you that.
Yeah, they're hard to fix once you do. But anyhow, I hope everyone can come out to the patio. It's quite a
Yes, that's going to be a,
jewel of
A big
Old Palm City,
celebration.
and it's going to be nice.
and it's funny, Rex, now that the fence came down, all that stuff came down, there's people in there all the time. I'm sure you've seen them.
Yes, but I was the first one to use the cornhole.
As it should be.
Anything else? Staff,
Good.
thank you all very much. I call this meeting to
Thank you.
end.